Hey booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you are not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is from November 6th through November 12th and all my reading shenanigans in between. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so I actually have stuff to talk about today. I'm excited. I have stuff to talk about. The first thing I have to talk about is this bad boy, Sarah J. Maas's Tower of Dawn, the sixth installment to the Throne of Glass series. I did an entire reading vlog for it. I'll link it up here in the corner for you guys so you can go check it out. This was 5 stars all the way. I am reading all of Sarah J. Maas's published works in publication order for the SJM Read Along, hosted by Jen over at the Book Refuge. I'll link her down below. This thing was fucking phenomenal. I had such a good time with this, and I find it very, very hard to believe that this is actually a lot of people's least favorite installment. And honestly, the only thing I can actually kind of sort of maybe understand is for the people that were reading these when they first came out. After reading Empire of Storms and knowing how it ended, and then waiting like the year, almost 2 years for the next installment to come out, and this is the installment you come out with, yes, I could see why people were really pissed off about this one. But if you take that element out of the equation, this installment is just as powerful, just as strong, just as good as the rest of the installments. However, we don't get to see any of the main cast. We only see Chaol and Nezrin and their story, but this is Chaol's redemption, and goddamn was it a fucking good one. Oh my god, I'm such a sucker. I'm such a sucker for a redemption story. Oh my god. He's back. He's back. He's not perfect, but I'm fucking okay with it. He is imperfectly perfect, and I just fucking adore him even more than I ever did before. This is the Chaol that I always knew was there. So way back in earlier this year when I started this read along, and I threw my hands up and said, I'm Team Chaol, I'm Team Chaol. And people were looking at me like, oh, just you wait, honey, just you wait. Well, I waited, and I know exactly why you said that. But you know what? He still pulled through. He's still there. This is the guy that I knew always was there. This is the one. And I just fucking adore this installment. This is probably my favorite installment of the series so far. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had such a good time with this one. It did not rip my heart out and stomp on it, but it definitely made me feel all the feels, and I'm okay with it. It was okay to have sort of a happy ending to a Sarah J. Maas book, at least in this series. It made me feel very, very hopeful, and I have such a good foundation walking into Empire of Ash, which is the next installment that I have to read this month, and that will be the culmination of this series. So I have got a great footing, a great understanding of what's going on. I know where all the players are. I know the paths that they're going on, and I am ready. I am pumped. I cannot wait. But Chaol's back, and I'm so, so happy about it. I'm so happy, guys. I'm so happy. So go check that vlog out. It'll be linked up in the corner again, and also down below if you guys haven't checked it out. It is a long one, so make sure you have a drink and a comfy seat, but it is definitely a fun one. So definitely a good time. Great way to start off this week. Great way. The next book I was working on this week was an audiobook, and it was Jessie by J.A. Huss, and it looks like this. This is the first installment in the Bossy Brothers series, an audiobook by Ava Erickson and Teddy Hamilton. This is a billionaire romance where both male and female are billionaires. There is a mafia element to it as well, but the main trope in this is a second chance romance. That's what it really is mainly focused with. So we follow Emma Dumas, who buys Jessie Boston in a billionaire auction as payback after he ghosted her and broke her heart back in the day in Key West when she was like 18. Okay, honestly, that setup is like the best form of fucking payback I've ever seen in my entire life. I really wish that shit could happen. Like, if that has actually happened in real life, I really want to know, because that's boss level moves right there. That is boss level moves, and I fucking love it. And basically, payback's a bitch. But payback's a bitch on both sides, and that's what this story really entails. It's after the auction actually takes place, then our story just takes off, and it is back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with this power play from both of our key players, and it is fucking awesome. I had such a good time with this one. I gave it 4 stars, and I definitely plan on continuing with the rest of the series. This thing was a hoot and a half, and it was great. What worked in it was Emma's character. Emma Dumas, the character, she was a badass from start to finish. Yes, she was this bratty little 18-year-old who kind of got duped, but she took that heartbreak and turned it in this multi-million-dollar makeup empire and did the biggest F you to this guy, bought the fucker, bought him, like to say this, bought him in an auction, and then proceeded to drug him and make him feel like the biggest piece of shit she possibly could. Backfires, but you know what? It backfires in a really cool way, and then it's just this power play, and she meets Jesse every fucking time he throws something at her. I mean, the banter in this thing was so fucking on point. This thing was great. It reminded me so much of the banter in Brutal Prince, how well it was done and how well it was back and forth. It was just spot on. But Emma's character, she just was not taking shit from fucking anybody, and she was down for it the whole 9 yards. And the very end, which I really liked, is really when her character really shone the most. So a lot of shit happens. A lot of weird, psychotic, messed up, fucked up shit happens. And she looks at this and she's nosy. She wants to know about it. And so she gets involved. I'm thinking, oh God, she's going to be that girl that has to know everything. And then she's going to be the one that saves the fucking day. No, this bitch is just like, yeah, this is fucked up. You're coming with me. Fuck this shit. I'm not even trying to figure this out because your family's fucked and nuts and crazy, but I love you, so I'm taking you. You're gonna move in with me, and we're gonna just pretend that none of this shit fucking exists. Thanks for playing, but fuck this guy. I'm out. I'm taking you, and you're coming with me. And I just loved it. She was the chick that just was like, yeah, this is a fucked up situation. Not partaking in it. I'm gonna walk the other way now. Who wants to join me? Let's go have ice cream. Like, that was it. She was great. I fucking loved her. It was just so awesome with her character. And then when she was constantly one-upping Jesse, and then Jesse one-upping her, it was just back and forth. It was just fantastic. But her character, loved her. Another thing that worked in this, besides the banter and Emma's character, were the twists and turns. Like I said, a lot of fucked up shit happens in this book. Not dark fucked up shit, just weird stuff. And you still don't really know what's entirely going on with the weird stuff, but there's a lot of twists and turns, so it keeps you on your toes the entirety of this book. Like, it doesn't really ever give you a chance to just kind of breathe and enjoy these characters, but every twist and turn further shows you another side of this relationship for these two. Another way for their second chance to really latch on and take effect. And so the twists and turns worked really, really well with the emotional component in this book, and I really, really enjoyed it. The main thing that did not work in this was this cloak and dagger twist that doesn't get resolved. Now, this is the first installment in a series, so I'm hoping that this cloak and dagger thing will kind of get resolved later on, because the other installments are about the other brothers of the other Boston brothers. So I'm hoping we get more into this, but right now, as it stands, this is cloak and dagger with no fucking explanation whatsoever. I mean, the guys that are involved don't even fucking know. The main guy literally says, I don't know why I do it, I just do it. And then this comes to us. The fuck, man? Really? Oh, okay. I'm hoping that in future installments that shit gets explained, because right now it's just fucking weird. And I'm kind of along with Emma. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Let's go have ice cream. Thank you for playing. Yeah, so that was the main thing that didn't really work. It was just this, there's something going on with the family, so this secretive element does work. But then when you figure out what the secretive element is, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But it doesn't make sense to the characters either. So you kind of forgive it a little bit, but it's just weird. But it doesn't really take away from the book at all. Because this story, you wouldn't, even if you didn't have this cloak and dagger element, this story would still be awesome. So it's one of those things that I'm assuming is those tie-ins for future installments, this bigger arching plot for the rest of the series. But it's just the way it's given to you in the first book. it just kind of like, it's weird. I don't know about this, guys. This is kind of weird. But yeah, that was the only thing I really didn't like about this book, was just that point. But I'm hoping it will get fleshed out and further explained in future installments. Now, the spice rating for this book, I gave it 2 chili peppers. We have we have this oral sex scene, which is fucking dope. Oh my god, this thing was fucking brilliant. So it is a hate sex scene, which those are always fun to read. They are fun because there is so much passion on both sides of the coin. You know these characters really care about each other, the chemistry's there, the passion's there, but they fucking hate each other for mutual reasons, and it is great. But there is this scene, she's on a counter, and oral sex happens, and Jessie says a line that I just had to stop for a second and take a breath and take a moment and just file it away to my FTD bank. That was great FTD in that one, and it was spot on. Oh my god. I don't even want to say it because Teddy Hamilton said it, and I cannot do the line fucking justice. So just listen to the audiobook and listen for Teddy Hamilton. You will know the fucking line I'm talking about when he says it, but it is badass and it is awesome, and it is in that bank, guys. It is in that bank. It is one of my faves. Oh, that scene was fucking fantastic. And Emma is a badass bitch in that scene at the end. Holy shit. That's when I started to fall in love with Emma, right after that scene. I was just like, man, you were such a boss bitch that I fucking love it. Oh, she was such a badass character. If you guys pick up this book, please let me know what you think of Emma, because I had a great fucking time with her. I want her as my friend. I want her as my friend. I like her a lot. So yes, I gave this 4 stars, plan on continuing with the rest of the series, had a great fucking time with this. And this is my second J.A. Huss book. I read Sexy a little while back, and Sexy was very weird, and it had some things I didn't like about it, but it seems, her writing seems more refined in this. I don't know if this was written before Sexy or after, but if you liked Sexy, you will like this. If you didn't like Sexy, I think you will still like this because the writing style is slightly different, but she still has that really weird twist thing that she has going on in that one. So just be warned about that. All right, the third and final book that I completed this week was my Smut Club book, and that is Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller. And I am reading this for the Smut Club hosted by Cheyenne over at That Tall Book Girl and McKay at Oh Hey It's McKay. I'll link both their channels down below. This is the first installment in the Monster and Muses series, and I was really looking forward to this one. When they announced the Smut Club books for the month, when they said this one, this is the one I was looking forward to the most, because this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, people, and we all know I like Hades and Persephone retellings. But this one, we have forced marriage, we have age gap, we have graphic sexual content, we have gang violence, we have drugging, we have assault, we have mentions and dealings with misophonia, a type of disorder where certain sounds will actually trigger anxiety attacks. And also we have blood play in this one, which was kind of a shocker. I didn't see that one coming, which was pretty cool, but I didn't see it coming. So summary of this guy, we have Elena Reese and Cal Anderson. They hook up at Christmas after she approaches him to take her virginity. He's been leaving her poems, and she finally confronts him and says, I want you to be my first. I'm in this arranged marriage, but I want you to be it because you're the person that I've been pining for years. But this coupling is recorded and used as blackmail against Anderson and the mafia boss Reese. Reese agrees to allow Cal to marry Elena rather than who she's betrothed to prevent any harm from coming to her, but this does put him in a predicament. Her betrothal to her previous fiance allowed him to earn a lot of money from his family, so it puts him in a financial bind, but he's trying to think of the safety of his daughter first. This marriage is forced. It's abrupt. Elena has no fucking idea that this is happening because she marries Cal the day of her actual wedding to Mateo, who's the one she was supposed to be married to, while he's dying in the bed behind her. Yeah, because Cal doesn't give a fuck. Nope, he's that guy. He's that guy. He got the go-ahead. he went for it. And our story really jumps off from that point when he drugs her to take her to his island because she is scampered away. This thing just goes on this really intense, very, very steamy path from that point on. Yes, this thing was high on the sex, like a lot. This reached, for me reading for the Smut Club, this definitely reached the smut level. It did. This was smutty, and it was awesome for the smut level, for sure. There were a lot of things that worked in this, but there were also things that didn't work in it. What worked? The sexual chemistry between Cal and Elena. That shit was there from page 1 all the way to page whatever it ended on. But it was there, and it was awesome. It was steamy, it was spicy, and I was loving it, and I was devouring every single titillating second of it because these scenes were written really fucking well. I had a great time with the sex scenes of this book, which really carried this book. There is a plot to this story, but the sex scenes are really what you want to read this book for. Straight up for the sex scenes, because they are carrying the story by far. But the chemistry written between Elena and Cal is spot on. It's there. You know there are feelings there on both sides, but of course, God forbid we actually acknowledge we fucking like people, you know, damn. But we eventually get there, so, you know, it's great. Another thing that worked in this was Cal. I fucking loved his character. He was dark, and he does not give a fuck about anybody except Elena. And even then, sometimes he's like, nope, I'm taking what I want. Fuck you, I don't give a shit. I loved Cal's character. I loved him. He had just enough dark and twisty backstory to kind of explain his demeanor as an adult. The only thing I didn't quite understand is why he was so attracted to, like, this 18-year-old. I never did quite understand that. They do have this kind of poetry connection. They are both very into poetry and reading, so maybe that was the connection, but it just wasn't brought to light as much as I think it should have been for that connection to really be there. But the chemistry between him and him wanting her, oh my God. Just the dominance of him, the ownership of him, that was fucking brilliant. I loved him. And he was very, very giving. He's very giving on the orgasms and making her happy. At least sexually happy. Maybe not personally happy all the fucking time. But he was definitely there with the dominance and the oral fixation that he had with her. Because there was a lot of oral sex in this one. A lot more on the male to the female. A lot. Like, damn near almost every single sex scene had an oral sex scene from male to female, which I was very, very fucking happy about. Thank you for that. That was awesome. I loved that. The other thing that worked was the vileness of Elena's parents. Miller wrote her parents to suck. Well, they sucked. That was conveyed very, very easily, very, very quickly. Obviously, they are the fucking villains of the story. She wrote them to be, and I have zero empathy for either one of those two fuckers. She did a great job of making me hate those two characters with an undying passion. Like, yeah, for sure. That was very well done. So I clearly knew that even though Cal was doing all this, like, shady kind of shit, these were the two seriously fucked up ones, for sure. She made that very clear in the beginning, and she never let up on it. So I thought that was great. What didn't work in this? So honestly, this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I don't think it needed to be. The original plot of the story would have conveyed the Hades and Persephone element. However, what Miller does is she's constantly referring to her character. They're referring to themselves as Hades and Persephone, bringing Persephone to his own little underworld. And she's got a little pomegranate tattoo, and she uses pomegranate shampoo and drinks pomegranate syrup in her drinks. And he's constantly talking about how villainous he is and referring to himself as Hades. that it was just because of all of the forced references to Hades and Persephone, it ruined the retelling for me. It didn't need to fucking be there. The original plot point conveyed it just enough. And maybe the little subtle nods of the pomegranate syrup in her cocktail, which becomes very, very prevalent at the very end of the story. It becomes an important element. That would have been the perfect nod. You didn't need any of the rest of the fucking literally saying, oh, my little Persephone, oh, my Hades. You didn't need to say any of that shit. It didn't need to fucking be there. It didn't. And it kind of started pissing me off because it started to cheapen that story for me, and that's one of my favorites. So, no, not cool with that at the fuck all. The initial portrayal of the Risi Mafia boss. So, what the instance that really kickstarts this forced marriage, in the beginning, made complete total sense, but then there's this twist that would have made that storyline, made the storyline of him marrying Elena so much fucking stronger if they didn't have this original blackmailing thing going on. This storyline involves the mom, and it was a hell of a lot stronger. I really wish that would have been flushed out more, because that would have even played more to the Hades and Persephone story, with Demeter hating Hades as much as she does with the Persephone and Hades retelling. So now we have the mom that hates Cal so much, but now we have a fucking reason why. It would have been epic. Like, the original blackmailing concept worked until I learned about this other element with the mom. And then I was like, why didn't you use the mom? That would have been so much fucking cooler. Would have strengthened your Hades and Persephone retelling so much more without me having to have it blatantly told to me this is a Hades and Persephone story, which you did. So I really wish she would have chosen her triggers a little bit better. The last thing that I think didn't work was this twist ending that I'm assuming leads to the next installment, because this twist ending involves a character that comes out of fucking left field. I looked back in the book and I don't remember reading about this fucking character. And I couldn't really find another reference to her, so I'm like, I don't understand who the fuck this bitch is. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, this twist ending has another like level of twist, which was kind of cool. So the first part of this twist, dope as fuck. The second part is what I'm talking about, this extra character. I'm like, I don't fucking know who you are, because it's clearly stated in the beginning of the book. She mentions when she's talking about her triggers, that this is an interconnected standalone. There are plot points and side stories that are not immediately resolved and that run through the series. So I knew going in that there are going to be stuff in here that's not resolved. Fine, cool, I get it. Thank you for letting me know. You know, I appreciate it. But this chick, literally, I have no idea who the fuck she is. Like, I haven't seen her at all. And I saw where, like, another storyline was coming into play. It had kind of already been briefly kind of described. And I have suspicions of how that's going to be interconnected with this, I think. But this chick, I have no idea who the fuck she is. So I don't know if that's another whole nother plot line, or this is the plot line for the entirety of the series. And this other little storyline is for like the next installment romance thing. I'm not quite for sure. It just kind of left me a little bit. I literally read the last line, I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I was at deer camp and I literally heard all the guys in the room saying, I'm pretty sure she's not talking to the football game. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yeah, I know Jackie well enough to know she's talking to her book. Yeah, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm like, the fuck was that? I also did buddy read this with Becky from BeckX Reads, and I'll link her channel down below. And she kind of felt the same way about that ending with me. So I'm not the only person that thought that. But if you have not checked her channel out, go check her out. I will link her down below. She's awesome. And we did buddy read this together. She read it a lot faster than I did, because I just couldn't seem to get a time to sit down and read it. But once I was in it, I had a great time with this. I gave it a 3.5 star. On Goodreads, it's listed as a 4 because they don't have half rankings, and I want to give it the benefit of the doubt because the sex scenes really fucking carry this book. These things were great, guys. If you just want a smut book, here you go. Okay, not like storyline's fine, smut level out of this world. I gave this 4 chili peppers. We had blood play with a marking where like he actually marks her, like scars her and shit. and then has this like swallowing of the blood from the marking thing. So I was like, whoa, hold the phone. What? Okay, well, this is a thing now. I was like, damn, okay, that's pretty dope. And the way it was intertwined and the way it was described, her experiencing it, the pain, and just kind of this blending of what he was doing while he was doing that. Oh, that was fucking great. It was super hot. Not gonna lie to you. It was not gonna lie to you. Those scenes were great. Definitely heavy on the oral sex, male giving to the female. Damn near every fucking sex scene there was one. This man seriously loved her a lot. Loved doing that, and I applaud him. You go, dude. You go. You're a fave of mine, because that's awesome. Thank you. The dirty talk, did not see that one coming, because he calls her little one in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, don't do that. Not the little one trope. I don't mind baby girl. I don't mind, baby. But little one, and she's 18 and he's in his 30s, and there is an age gap in this. I was like, all right. It didn't bother me enough to stop reading, but it definitely made me like, that's the line you picked. But then he gets a lot more graphic, and it is consistent, and it is great, and I fucking loved it. Oh my God, he was great. Some of the lines that he said to her were, I didn't need to read the sex scene afterward, because the line fucking did it, guys. The dirty talk was great. Dirty talk was fan-fucking-tastic in this book. Great fucking dirty talk. We have multiple locations in this. So we have a few areas in the home, but we also have a theater scene, which was dope as fuck. That thing was awesome. So we have a little bit of voyeuristic tendencies a little bit, and the dirty talk within that one scene, guys. That was brilliant. That was great. I loved every single second of that scene, because it was definitely like, it was a quintessential sex scene. Like, this sex scene is one of the main plot development points in this book, and it's done during the sex scene. Like, the conversation they need to have is done while having sex. That's what I mean. I say the sex ran this book. A lot of their major conversations happened while they were having sex, and it was through what they were saying and what they were doing with each other that exposed what their actual feelings were, and it was fantastic. And that scene is definitely a good one. So definitely, if you read this book, wait for that one. It's great. And then we have Cal's dominance. He was fucking epic. He embodied the mindset and the characteristics that I believe Hades had so fucking well. Again, I didn't need the blatant Hades reference of calling him Hades and bringing him to our underworld, because his character traits already gave me fucking Hades. I would have thought he was Hades inspired without being told that. Like, that is how on point he was. And so I loved him. He's a new fave of mine. New fave. Yep. So 3.5 stars. I definitely plan on continuing with the rest of the series, because I definitely want to see what happens at twist ending, but it does kind of come in a left field. So yeah, but this one definitely hit the smut level, and I had a good time with it. It's not as good as I was building up in my head to be, but it didn't disappoint me, but it didn't rock my socks either. So, but definitely a good one, it was a good time. It was a good time. And the last book that I started that I'm currently working on is this guy, Owned by a Mountain Man by Gemma Weir. I decided to, since I was going to deer camp, I wanted something outdoorsy, and on the way there, because it's about 2.5 hours away from where I am, I was listening to this in the car, and I decided to break back into this Montana Men series. This is the second installment of the Montana Mountain Men series, and it's another audiobook done by Kurt Bonham and Avery Karras. So far, loving their narration, having a really good fucking time with them, for sure. And the only thing I can really talk about it, because I'm not that far into it, we do have another alpha hero with extreme dominance, but not the same as Bo from the previous installment. This one follows Cora and Huck. Cora is Bonnie from the first installment's best friend, and Huck is, I don't think he's the second oldest. I want to say he's the third oldest. I don't think he's the one right after Bo. I think the guys are going to be jumping around in age range, but he works with Bo. And I think I'm going to like him a lot. He's very reminiscent of Bo. He reminds me of Bo, but in a different, cooler way, and a lot more, not extreme way, but a definitely edgier way. Like Bo, with his bossiness and his dominance, it was still within this framework of like gentlemanness. Like it was kind of strange how you put his framework in. But you have Huck, who's kind of like, he knows what the right things to do are within his kind of like dominant personality. But at the same time, he's like, nah, fuck that. I like this chick. I'm going for it. Fuck this shit. And I kind of like him. But I haven't had enough experience with him yet to say if I like him better than Bo. But Bo and Bonnie do make an appearance. So far, they have made an appearance, and I'm liking it. I'm having a good time with it. So I will let you know more about this one in my next wrap-up. But that is all I got for you guys this week. I had a really good time this week, and I did not get a Court of Frost and Starlight read before the live show, but I'll be working on it this week, and you'll be seeing that vlog up some point in time this week. So do keep your eyes peeled for that, and I will see you guys all soon with another video. Have a good one, guys.